What's up, everyone? Welcome to RotoGrinders NBA Crunch Time. I'm your host, TJ Zwarich. We got a TWT weekend for you. We got a nice little NBA slate. Not too many games, but just the right amount to have some fun. A nice little 6-gamer right in the middle ground. My name is TJ Zwarich. I'm joined today by Tim Buell, Tasteful Tides. How you doing, Tim?
Yeah, I'm doing well, TJ. Yeah, definitely a long, or not that long of a day, but definitely a day of college football. My DFS lineups look horrible in college football, but I've won a couple bets today. I'm looking to go 3-0 in the sports betting world here, so I'm hoping that still pans out. And I'm of course excited to break down this NBA slate with you guys.
Multi-sport night for me as well. I didn't play college football, but I am playing some NHL tonight. Just threw one lineup in some single entry contests. Already got it ready to rock. And so hopefully we'll make some money in NHL and in NBA tonight. Joining us to break down the NBA slate, we got Will Priester, the Chief. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing good, man. This slate has really grown on me kind of throughout the day. So I'm hoping that's a good thing. Hopefully I can help some people, make a few dollars tonight. And hopefully we put them on the right stuff, man. So just excited to come on and hang out with you guys and get it done.
We got lots of cheap value on this slate already, potentially some more opening up with the likes of Davion Mitchell still listed as questionable. That could certainly open some things up. For Miami, we still have PJ Washington on Dallas. Certain things could fall into place, but we got most of the news that we were waiting for already today. Tim, Hoosiers Hang Banners in chat, says that it's nice to see you taking a break from chopping wood. We're not going to give you too much of a break. We're going to throw you right back into the fire. Give me your overview on tonight's slate.
Yeah, so we definitely, we got a ton of news, like you said, already on the slate, looking like we've already got some really, really strong value. Golden State and Houston seem to be kind of like the primary pieces, depending on which site you're playing on. Houston's the big one. We're looking at, definitely, 2 to 3 pieces of that game currently popping in optimals. We're already getting to a ton of Clint Capella. So definitely going to be interesting. Clint Capella, Chalk Day. Although I will say, we'll talk about it, but there's tons of good centers today. So like by no means do you have to play Clint Capella, but he's just an interesting value piece. And it is kind of like a shorter slate. And it's not a sprint slate, but the first game's at 7, the last game's at 8:30 Eastern time. So not like we don't really have to worry about backloading too much our lineups here. There's one game kind of right in the middle that I've got a ton of interest in. That's not, some of it is popping in optimals, but it's a game that I'm really trying to build heavily into in my single entry team, despite the fact that it's not really like a cash game build type team. So definitely a super, super interesting slate. It looks like we'll be going back to Kevin Porter Jr. again, who somehow his price went down. So he's like another one of these kind of, chalk core type pieces, and Jalen Johnson. He's another one of those like core plays that's looking absolutely fantastic. A lot of DFS goodness in that first game. So Will and I were talking about that pre-show. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting slate tonight, despite the fact that it's pretty small.
Couldn't agree more. There is one spot with the news that I'm still waiting on that I think is pretty important. I kind of want to, at least in like single entry stuff, keep one spot open for Drew Smith. Because if Davion Mitchell's out, I think Drew Smith is going to be the best value on the slate, even or kind of 1A, 1B with Capella over on DraftKings. And so that's something I'm keeping an eye on, is that Davion Mitchell news. Derek Ringer in chat saying, "Are you thinking Şengün sits?" Yes, he's listed as doubtful.
Yeah,
and so
weaker.
He's out of projections. So that would be a big surprise if he does happen to play. He's currently listed as doubtful. But the Davion Mitchell one, that's something I want to keep my eye on, because if he's out, Drew Smith, as kind of like the only other point guard left on that team, I think is very interesting, because they'll probably do some Norm Powell stuff. They'll probably do some Jaime Jaquez at the one. But I think Drew Smith might be in line for high 20s, low 30s minutes in that scenario. So I'm trying to get to him in fair amounts, which we'll get to in the position by position stuff. We'll, of course, go DraftKings first. We will go FanDuel second, cover cash tournaments for both of them in depth, and then we'll take some questions from you. I'll go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first to take some questions, so get your questions in there. I'll go to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, all we ask is that you hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well, but most importantly, help us battle that YouTube algorithm and hit that like button. Will, I'll throw it to you first for the position by position aspect of it. We'll start over on DraftKings. We got KPJ chalk for the second day in a row, and he didn't even really play good yesterday, but he still smashed his price tag. What are you planning on doing with KPJ? And then who else do you like at the point guard position on DraftKings?
Yeah, definitely think KPJ is probably one of the better plays on the slate at the position. 6,500. Getting a chance to really spread his wings right now with all these guys out, and he's been producing. So I think he's one of those guys in tournaments where if you're gonna play him, in my mind, there's two ways you play it. I could be wrong. It's the X button or over the field. Like that's kind of my thoughts on KPJ. So once again, like him a ton. In terms of alternate pieces, I like Cade. I tend to always gravitate towards Cade in these spots where we don't have like ultra spend ups. Cade is a guy, if this game is anywhere near close, should be able to get it done. I'm okay with Ryan Rollins as a GPP flyer. People just aren't going to play him today, right? Like nobody's planning to play Ryan Rollins, and this is a guy that has some upside in that same game. I'm expecting Milwaukee to lose that game, but I think Rollins is interesting from a tournament perspective. On the cheaper end, like we've got Malik Monk tag. I think he's a really good tag at 5K, especially with them having some guys out as well. So I like him quite a bit I don't want to call him sneaky, but with those guys, I think he should have a really nice day.
I mentioned Drew Smith as well as a guy I'm keeping an eye on for if Davion Mitchell is out. But Tim, how about you? What are you planning on doing with Kevin Porter Jr.? Who do you like at the point guard position today?
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to be playing him on both FanDuel and DraftKings. They did do a little bit better of a job pricing him more appropriately on FanDuel, but I still think he's a fantastic play. So it looks like I'm going to be kind of eating that chalk, so to speak. I do love the call on Malik Monk. That Sacramento-Miami game is probably my favorite game on the entire slate. I think you can build some really nice game stacks into that game. I mean, I know that Sacramento is absolutely terrible, but I think this is a pretty good spot for them. They do have 117 implied team total, and so I think getting to pieces of them, mainly Malik Monk, I think is a really, really great play. Pat Spencer, 3,900. I think that he's a really strong value tonight. We talked about how Golden State is pretty shorthanded this evening, so I think he's a really, really strong play. Amen Thompson, 8K on DK. I do like, we talked about getting to some Houston pieces here today. I think that's a really, really strong play. Dyson Daniels, again, that Atlanta-Washington game, anytime we can get, anytime we can attack Washington, I think at low ownership, I think that's definitely got some GPP merit to that. So Dyson Daniels, I think, is super interesting. And then Cade Cunningham, he didn't quite get there last night, but he was still pretty good. I think he's a pretty strong pay up to get different option at the point guard spot. So I think he would definitely should be in the pool.
All right, take me over to shooting guard.
Yeah, so Kevin Durant is shooting guard eligible. So 8,100 for him is, I think, a really, really strong play. He's currently popping kind of everywhere right now, whether it be in Sims or in Optimals. So I absolutely love him. That seems a little bit too cheap for him. I think he's got a really fantastic floor. Norman Powell, 6,600. He might be better off at the small forward position, but you can still play him at shooting guard. Really do love that game, and I do love that price. It's 6,600. He leads the team in usage with no hero on the court, so I think he's quite strong. Gary Payton, 4K, shooting guard only. I talked about Pat Spencer. I think you can get to some Gary Payton. He's really, really cheap on both DK and FanDuel. Currently popping in our first FanDuel Optimal, so really strong play over on FanDuel. Kaishan George, I talked about that game. It's a very, very strong game. So Kaishan George, I think, is a great play. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's shooting guard only on DK. He's an even stronger play on FanDuel. He's 6,900 on FanDuel. So I think he's a real strong play over on the FanDuel site. But he's great, I think, on both. So $7,400 for him on DraftKings. I really do love that quite a bit. And I think you could take shots on Buddy Hield at 4,200. So I think he's worth a mention.
Every time my phone gets a little notification, I kind of keep looking. Is it the Miami news? Is it the Miami news? It is Miami news coming in. We'll see if we get the Davion Mitchell.
There he is. Mitchell's out.
Why couldn't we get it after Hero's out? Mitchell's out.
Larson's out.
Larson's out. I would have been looking so good with all my Drew Smith if we got this after the slate locked, but alas, now I'm just going to hit the lock button on him. And that's how I'm going with him today. And I'm going to rebuild my 150 set, and I'm going to have 100% Drew Smith. Tim, would you agree that now Smith and Kevin Porter Jr. are like 2 point guards you have to have on both sites now from a cash perspective?
Yeah. So 3,500 on DK. He is, how much is he on FanDuel? 4,100. Yeah, I mean, absolute fantastic plays on both sites. We had an if-then set up for this, and it looks like, obviously pretty good boost to everybody. Bam, Jaime Jaquez, Drew Smith is obviously, he's the biggest one. Yeah, so I would say Drew Smith is now like a core play. He's like, I'd put him in 3 out of 3 and a 3 max. Definitely, you're putting him in your cash game build. So yeah, pretty big news there. So yeah, Drew Smith is a top value now.
All right, Will, DraftKings shooting guard position. Who do you like? And thoughts on the Drew Smith situation as well.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Smith's cheap. I mean, I got no problems with it. I'm starting to feel too chalky tonight. I'm about to figure out a way to kind of swap this thing up. I'm hoping the Kevin Durant ownership goes down, but I don't think it is now with even more value. I think even more people are going to play him. I'm with you on Norman Powell in Miami, a guy that's a little bit more expensive than some of the other guys. So 6,600 on DraftKings, a guy that should be taking a fair amount of shots too. I like him quite a bit. I think Donovan Mitchell is not getting enough ownership tonight, so he's someone I'm interested in on DraftKings at 9,400. I think with all the value, honestly, he might get left out in the cold. I'm pretty interested with Donovan Mitchell. So he's someone I'm definitely looking towards. I'm okay with Alexander Walker on DraftKings. I know we've talked about FanDuel. He's obviously a better player on FanDuel at 6,900, but I still think he's fine on DraftKings. If you want to flip Malik Monk with shooting guard, be my guest. Love the Buddy Hield call, a guy that should be getting some shots up as well, and won't be afraid to, go bombs away if the opportunity presents itself. I think my big stand at shooting guard though is Donovan Mitchell on DraftKings at 9,400. I think he should be a little higher on today. I just don't think he's going to be. So that's kind of my big stand on DraftKings.
He was in cash consideration for me, but I think with this Miami news, he's not going to end up making my lineup just because I'm probably going to end up jamming at least 3 Miami players in cash today. But we will see.
AJ Green is ruled out.
Don't really think that moved the needle for much in Milwaukee, but it just means KPJ is more guaranteed more minutes.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes that we have projected. That's got to go somewhere else. I mean, yeah, it's not.
That's
huge.
fair. That's actually more than I realized. What if Cole Anthony slips back into the rotation at 3K flat?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting.
Because 18 minutes of Cole Anthony at 3K all of a sudden would probably make him pop.
Yeah, but I mean, now you got Drew Smith. I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't know if we necessarily need that now.
He's got the shooting guard eligibility though. That's nice.
He does, yeah. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see when projections adjust. I doubt he's going to be projected for that many minutes, but just kind of a thought. He was the one of their bench guys that if he got a minutes bump that I'd be interested in just that from a point per minute standpoint, whereas like an Amir Coffee, I don't know if I really care. But we'll take us over to small forward.
Yeah, I think I've gotten less chalky now that we've been talking. I've kind of, shifted a few things. So I'm actually really excited about being hopefully less chalky than I was when I started tonight. Small forward, excuse me. I probably end up with Kevin Durant at small forward, even though I talked about him at shooting guard. I think that's where I end up with him. He's one of my favorite plays on the slate. I don't really like small forward a ton tonight. It's kind of weak on DraftKings. I think I'll be flipping some of my other shooting guards, whoever I can get small forward, which is why Kevin Durant is so important to me. Small forward tonight, probably him and Norman Powell. I don't mind Jabari Smith, but I can play him at power forward also. Jabari Smith definitely makes the cut for me. But that's about it, man. I'm not small forward. I'm not thrilled about today.
Tim, how about you? Small forward position. I feel like much of what I would like at small forward depends on this projection update on Miami.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be getting to a ton of Norman Powell now. I mean, I talked about him at shooting guard, but I mean, he's probably better served. Like Will mentioned, small forward is not fantastic this evening. So Norman Powell, I would assume we're going to be seeing a lot of Norman Powell in optimals once this projection updates. Yeah, so definitely Hobby Hawkes, I think, is going to be entering the conversation as well at 6K. He's shooting guard, small forward as well. So definitely, I think he's definitely going to be entering the conversation. Jabari Smith should be, he's going to be in the starting lineup. He should be playing the backup 5 minutes as well. You can play him at small forward or power forward. He's only 5,700, so he's a fantastic play. I think that if you should probably be playing Kevin Durant at shooting guard, but he's a great play either way. I think that as bad as it's been, I think you can play DeMar DeRozan tonight at 6,400 just because he's going to be playing minutes. I don't know, around 34, 35 minutes tonight. So I think that he is definitely in the conversation for GPPs. I wonder.
We did get the Miami update for what it's worth.
We did. Okay.
And so we have Simone Fontecchio popping in projections now, 21 minutes, 20.36 fantasy points. Khalil Ware popping in projections, 33.41 DK points for him. Hawkes now projecting for 32 minutes. Andrew Wiggins projecting not much different. And then Norman Powell, not as big of a bump as I expected, but 35.87 fantasy points for him over on DraftKings. Biggest bump obviously goes to Drew Smith. He's a must play now, up with above a 28 fantasy point projection. And then it was actually Hawkes and Ware that got the two biggest bumps. And so that answered my next question that I was going to ask was, should I go with Malik Monk and Andrew Wiggins, or should I go with Khalil Ware and Jaime Hawkes for my cash game today? And the Hawkes Ware combo projecting much, much better.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Ware and Hawkes. That just seems, it seems a little scary with Hawkes, but I mean, I'm just hoping that they're short-handed enough that he's going to actually get those minutes. They've been kind of like pulling away from him lately, but yeah, I think that they're going to have basically no choice but to play him tonight. So it does make sense. But yeah, I'm currently getting to three Heat players in our number one optimal, which I'm not shocked by. Actually, no, excuse me, we're getting to 4. Yeah, so so this is gonna be some pretty heavy Miami chalk.
Dang, the number one optimal is just my lineup that I was running before we got the update. So I guess kudos to my brain for getting that right, but damn it to the lineup I wanted to throw out there in some single entries too. But I guess that makes me feel good about my cash lineup today. Take us power forward.
Yes. So all day and even after all this news, Jalen Johnson is going to be an absolute core play. He is an absolute must play. Another one of those guys where I would definitely be just playing him in 3 out of 3. I would be trying to get way overweight him in large field stuff. We have him right now at like 47% projected ownership. I would imagine. I mean, I would try to get like over 60 in my personal portfolio, maybe close to 75. Like I can understand if you don't want to like lock button him, but boy, is he close to that threshold. I mean, he's like unbelievable. I'm kind of upset that I didn't play him at all yesterday. I really didn't build much into that game. But yeah, I mean, he's just absolutely unreal. So 10K for him almost seems like a bargain. So definitely be getting to him. After that, it goes downhill pretty quick. Fontecchio is fine in the value range. Will Riley doesn't even have to start. We don't even have him projected to start right now. But we have projected to play 25 minutes at his price point. I think that's quite solid. Andrew Wiggins, 6,500. I talked about how much I like that game. So obviously Miami is going to be anyone from Miami right now is going to be super strong. So obviously do like Wiggins here. And then don't forget about Jabari Smith. So he's definitely firmly in play still, even though he's no longer popping in optimals. I think he's a really, really strong play. I think he's a pretty decent pivot off of Hawkes. He's projected for a couple points less. He's $300 less, but I would imagine that I would think that Hawkes is going to be more popular now, and I think Jabari might be an interesting pivot off of him.
I like it, Will. How about you? Who are you getting to at power forward?
Yeah, I think we're going to be on some of the same guys. I definitely like Jabari today. Outside of the Jalen Johnson chalk, and Jabari really isn't heavily owned in terms of a projection, with it being only 6 games. So I like him quite a bit. Jalen Johnson is the obvious play. I mean, he's just been, Hulk smashing this season so far, and we should hopefully see another really good game out of him. I'm okay with Wiggins if you decide to go there. I'm okay with Evan Mobley if you decide to go that direction too. I mean, who's to say he can't go off for 50 tonight against Golden State? So I'm perfectly fine with him. I'm not really obviously spending up too much outside of Johnson. Like, I don't really want to play Julius Randle. Definitely not playing Kuminga. He will have to just prove me wrong, but not seeing enough minutes. He is cheaper on FanDuel for what it's worth, but I'm still not thrilled about it. Power forward, another, weird position. I guess if you want to get the Fontecchio, with him being cheap, I think it's fine. But he's still not someone I'm just running to decide that I need to, load up. Maybe a little bit of Will Riley, but I'm not, Jalen Johnson and Jabari Smith are my two main pieces.
All right.
On DraftKings.
Take us to center. And am I crazy to just lock Clint Capella? Should I be differentiating?
I don't think it's crazy. I think it, I've made a lot of money on 3K centers over the years, TJ. Those 3K centers, even if he goes for 28 fantasy points, that is enough. He's 3,400, I think Capella is on DraftKings. Yeah, he's 3,400. If he goes for 30, TJ, we're getting, all 10X isn't created equal. I get it, but he's going 10X for 3K, 30 fantasy points. You just can't beat that. I do like Bam on DraftKings, as well. Only center only, but I don't mind rolling the dice either there or in the flex. Definitely someone I think we could get behind. Same thing for Ware. His projection looks really good now. Marvin Bagley, I thought was going to be a little bit more popular prior to this news, but I just don't know how popular he's going to be now that we have that. I'm still slightly interested, believe it or not. This is still a guy that can get you mid-30s fantasy points. And who's to say he doesn't outscore a Ware or somebody else in that range? So I think we should continue to be looking at Marvin Bagley. The projection isn't crazy, I get it, but in a game against the Hawks, still a situation where I think we should try to get behind him. So those are a lot my main guys.
I'm so concentrated at the center position today. I ended up with 100% Capella, 50% Ware, 17% Okongwu, 7% Bam, and then 3, 2, and 1% of Zubac, Bagley, Duran, and Trace Jackson Davis. Tim, what are you doing at the center on DK today?
Yeah, center's actually, I think, pretty tough here. Clint Capella's your cash game guy. Capella and Ware are both your cash game guys, but I think Bam is super interesting now. 7,700. He's also power forward eligible on FanDuel, so probably a stronger play over there. But I think Bam ends up being like a really strong play on DK, just because so many people are going to be flocking to Ware. Might leave Bam a little bit squeezed here. So I think that's super interesting. I do want to credit Will on the Evan Mobley call. I think that's a really good call. You can play him at center also, 8,600. Quentin Post. Will and I were talking about him before the show started, at least on FanDuel. He's really cheap. He's kind of the same price as Capella over on FanDuel, projected for 25 minutes. So I think that he's a good play. He's a good GPP play on both sites. Probably a little bit better on FanDuel, but I think he's a strong GPP play either way. I think Bagley's okay. I think that price is getting a little bit away from us, but I think he's decent. And then Onyeka Okongwu, again, he is power forward eligible on FanDuel, so he's stronger over there. But even at 8K on DraftKings, I don't mind that much. So I think center is really strong, and if you pay up at center today, you're going to be. That's one way to get contrarian on this slate. Tobias Harris is out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that.
Bub Carrington is starting.
Bub Carrington is starting.
Bub Carrington is starting for Watkins. So no Jameer Watkins, Bub Carrington. I was kind of interested in Bub Carrington before we got all this news. I think that's pretty interesting. I wonder how many extra minutes we give him.
We had him projected like mid-20s, I think, didn't we?
Okay.
We had him projected for 25 minutes, so maybe 29.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Did you say you assume maybe he goes up to about 30 minutes?
Yeah, 29 I said, but 30 I think is a good guess.
Yeah, that's what I think. I would say 30 minutes is pretty reasonable. Him starting.
All right. Will, who do you like? Or no, you hit center first, right?
I did because I talked about Bam. Yeah,
that's what I thought. All right, let's switch over to FanDuel. But before we do, I want to let you know about shot quality. If you're still just checking the box scores for NBA DFS, you're already behind. Shot quality gives you the most predictive data in basketball, breaking down every shot to show what should have gone in, not just what did. Right now, you can grab a 3-day trial just by heading to the link in the show description. After that, it renews monthly for $39.99. Don't play blind, play smarter with shot quality. And speaking of links in the description, if you want to just head right down there, shout out to our friends in Missouri, because you can now sports bet. And so to find all the best promo codes at all the best sports books throughout the industry, check out the link in our description. Start talking FanDuel here. Tim, I will start with you this time. Point guard position, sheesh. This is a loaded spot now. And I was surprised to see Amen Thompson actually projecting like the strongest play over on FanDuel at the point guard position. Is Drew Smith only shooting guard eligible? Drew Smith
He's only shooting guard on FanDuel, so it's a little bit different on the FanDuel site just because he's shooting guard only. So point guard is still super strong, but you don't have that like premium value. You're probably living in this Amen Thompson, Kevin Porter, Neil Alexander-Walker. I guess you could play CJ McCollum. He's 6,200. I don't hate that. So it's probably two of those four guys in cash games. And then I think, Bob Carrington's point guard only. He's 3,800. I think he's okay for GPPs. He's probably not a cash game play, but I think that he is a strong GPP play. We talked about Malik Monk on DK. FanDuel, pretty much, maybe not quite as good, but still strong play. Point guard, shooting guard, 5,800. So he's very strong. Pat Spencer, point guard only on FanDuel. He's a very strong points per dollar play as well. So no Drew Smith over here, but there's still some really strong values and some really nice payoff options as well.
Chief, how about you? Who do you like? FanDuel point guard. Ooh, that Bob Carrington 3.8K is kind of sticking out now.
Yeah. I was literally going to bring that up. I still like Malik Monk quite a bit, so I just want you guys to know I'm not really coming off my Malik Monk shares. In fact, I may increase them. I'm fine with Kevin Porter Jr. I'm still fine with Cade. But yeah, Malik Monk. I'm still fine with Ryan Rollins too. I want to drive that point home. I am pretty interested in Ryan Rollins in this spot as well. So I guess the top ones for me, KPJ, Cade. I'm probably going to get the Donovan Mitchell at shooting guard on FanDuel. Malik Monk, Bob Carrington, Ryan Rollins.
All right, take us to shooting guard.
Yeah, so shooting guard, this is where your boy is, TJ.
Hell
yeah. He's not he's not at the point guard position, which is honestly okay for me. Like I'm perfectly fine with it. So he's 4,100. I think he's going to be fine. Like there's no reason to overthink it. Just plug Mr. Smith in, and I think you'll be good. Interestingly enough, you've now got spots where you can get some value, real value at point guard and shooting guard. So that's really cool. Once again, shooting guard for me, Donovan Mitchell, I like him quite a bit. He's a guy I think, once again, I think he's going overlooked here. Still tweaking, trying to make sure I can get it to where I feel really good about him and my single entry team, but just as an overall play, mass multi-entry, I think we need to be getting to a fair amount of Donovan Mitchell. Additionally, like if you like Cooper Flag, I'm okay with it. I know you can get him at a couple different spots. I don't plan on playing him at point guard. I'd much rather play him at shooting guard or small forward. But yeah, those are my main guys. Small slate. So I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel at all these positions.
Tim, how about you? Shooting guard position.
Yeah, so you're 100% starting off with Drew Smith. That's a really, really easy one. Amen Thompson, Kevin Porter, still fantastic plays. Neil Alexander-Walker, still fantastic. We add in now Norman Powell at 7,100. Really, really love him tonight. Kaishan George, again, is another guy that we add at 6,400. So I do like both those guys a ton. Dyson Daniels at 7,400. I think Will brought up Donovan Mitchell. I think he's a really interesting pay up to get, pretty different tonight. Like we had him at like 25%. I don't even know if he's going to be that high now. I would imagine he might even come in lower than that. So he's a good contrarian play if you're looking to spend up to get a little bit different here. Malik Monk, Buddy Hield, definitely guys that are like kind of in that mid-range value range that are pretty solid here. But you're definitely taking up one of your shooting guard spots with Drew Smith, I think, pretty much in any format that you're playing in.
All right, take us a small forward.
Yeah, so small forward, Jalen Johnson, he's small forward, power forward. So definitely getting him in one of those spots. Jonathan Kuminga on FanDuel is super cheap still, like 4,800. We have projected for 26 minutes, which is not a ton, but he doesn't have to do a ton at 4,800. So I do, he's a really strong value play. Jaime Jaquez now at 5,900. He's a fantastic value. But any of these Heat wings, whether it be Wiggins, Power, Jaquez, all super strong. Kevin Durant at 8,600. Jabari Smith at 5,800. Both really, really strong plays. I really like Jabari Smith. Like, I hope that I don't kind of like lose track of him tonight with all this news and value, because I still think he's a really great play. If you need somebody super, super cheap on FanDuel, Will Riley at 3,700 is okay. Same thing with Fontecchio at 3,900. But I do like Riley a little bit more between those two. But it is close between those two. But those are like the two super punts.
All right, Will, how about you? Who do you like at small forward?
A lot of the same guys, which I think I mentioned Kuminga earlier. Just like Tim, man, 4,800 on FanDuel, much better price than I think he was 6,100 on DraftKings, and I'm like, there's no way I'm paying that price, but on FanDuel, definitely can play him there. You can play Jalen Johnson at small forward if you want. I think I'm going to have Jalen Johnson at power forward for what it's worth. Jabari Smith could very well end up at small forward or power forward for me tonight. I like him quite a bit. Kevin Durant, obviously, a guy that I like, a ton. You mentioned Jaquez. I don't think I'm as high on Jaquez as the field. I actually might hit the X button on Jaquez tonight. I think I'm going to fade and live with the results. It's not about the projections, just me trying to trim the fat on someone that I think is going to be closer to not optimal than optimal, if that makes any sense. So I don't have anything against Jaquez. Obviously, I think the opportunity will be there, but I'm gonna bet on myself here and feel like I'm right. So gonna fade him and get some other guys. So that's where I'm at. I think my big stand at small forward is I'm hitting the X button on Jaquez.
Just got the ownership update for FanDuel, and Drew Smith now projecting for 49% ownership. Will, take us to power forward.
Yeah, power forward, definitely where I'm planning on playing Jalen Johnson. You can play Kevin Durant there as well if you decide. I am going to be playing Bam Adebayo at power forward. He's another guy that I really like. Okongwu was popping earlier. I think he's going to continue to pop. He's another guy. If you decide to play him, I think you're fine. Evan Mobley again at 9,100, a little bit more expensive, but I still think it's a really good spot for him against Golden State.
All right, Tim, how about you? Power forward.
Yeah, so Jalen Johnson, obviously fantastic. We talked about him at length. Bam Adebayo, he's like the big difference between FanDuel and DK. 7,900 power forward center. Absolutely love him. Khalil Ware, again, like you can play him at power forward as well at 6,300. So you can just load up all these forward spots with all these Miami guys. So absolutely love him. I talked about Kuminga. Okongwu is another ad here. Jabari Smith, Kevin Durant, I absolutely love. I don't really want to punt this position like at all. Like I see that I wouldn't go any lower than Jabari Smith here. I see like Champagny is kind of popping some places, and like Kuminga is as well. If you do play Kuminga, I'd rather do it the small forward position. Like power forward is so strong here. So many different plays here. I would not waste one with Kuminga, at least in the power forward spot. It's just too loaded.
Yeah.
All right, take us to center.
Yeah, so we talked about Clint Capella. He's probably your cash game guy today. But I think that if you have the extra $100, Quentin Post is very, very viable. $3,900 for him. We actually are projected for more minutes than Capella, even though we have Capella's rates are a little bit better, and we have Capella rated for more fantasy points. But I think that's pretty close, really, that decision. So those are two really good punts there. Talked about Bam, talked about Ware. They're fantastic, whether you play them at power forward or center. Okongwu's the same thing. I'm trying to find like any like true centers here that I'd be playing. I just don't think it's the slate for Jalen Duren, so I'm not going to get to him. Maxime Raynon, super interesting for GPPs. Like we're going to be getting to a ton of heat here. A really popular run back is going to be Malik Monk, but Maxime Raynon on both DK and FanDuel, I think he's 4,500 on DraftKings. He's 5K on FanDuel. I think we have him projected to start, but even if he doesn't, he should be playing minutes here in the mid to low 20s. He's like, he's a little bit more expensive than these more popular options of Post and Capella, but he could easily outscore both those guys. And just, so I think he's super, super interesting today in GPPs.
All right, Will, how about you? Center spot.
Yeah, a lot of the same guys, Clint Capella, Quentin Post, especially like Tim was mentioning. Very, very interesting here. $100 difference on FanDuel, where I'm almost positive Capella is going to get more ownership than Post. Could be wrong, but I think that's going to be the case. Don't mind Bam if you play him there. I'm going to still go back to Marvin Bagley here. I think I mentioned him on DraftKings. I still like him on FanDuel. Should be a little bit different now. I don't think he'll get as much ownership because of the other situations. And then Evan Mobley, if you want to throw him in, if you want to get him at FanDuel, get him in on FanDuel at center. Got no problems with it.
All right, we'll start taking some questions here, but before we do, gentlemen, I want to know from both of you who is breaking the slate tonight. Will, I will throw to you first. Who is your slate breaker?
This is, I guess, it's a little off the beaten path. I don't know, man. Let's call it a gut feeling. I think Ryan Rollins, man. Give me everybody's on KPJ. Ryan Rollins is in the same situation. Like, give me Rollins.
I like it. Wrote him up in the expert survey today as my favorite contrarian play. Love that call. Tim, how about you? Who is breaking the slate?
I'm going to go Maxime Raynon.
I like it. I had him in my pool. The build I was getting didn't have me getting to him at all. And so while you guys were just talking, I did adjust some stuff to make sure I got him in at least one of my lineups today. It gave me like 4% Bagley, but 0% Raynaud. And so I figured, why not take out one of the Bagleys, throw in some Raynaud. Take some questions. Going to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat first. Going to the YouTube chat second. YouTube, smash that like button for us. Help us keep the lights on. Help us continue to be able to do these weekend free shows for you. All we ask so that we can do that is you hitting that like button. start taking some questions now. And I'm in the NHL Discord, not the live stream Discord. Whoops. There we go. DK GPP, Will, you want Jabari Smith or DeMar DeRozan?
Jabari.
Tim, DK GPP, Spencer or Bub Carrington?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's close. I think it's Spencer.
Next one, Will, DK GPP, Najee Marshall or Ryan Nembhard?
Give me Nembhard.
Tim, what do you think about going to Andrew Wiggins today in a GPP? Probably the least owned of that quadrant of Heat players now.
I actually just landed on him in my very last spot on my single entry team, and I clicked it. So I'm going to go there with you.
Like that call quite a bit. I had him in my original build, and then I ended up switching things up just a little bit, but it wasn't because of Wiggins. I do still like him today. Khalil Ware or Jabari Smith, DK cash utility, Tim?
Khalil Ware, you said Ware Smith, DK cash utility?
Yeah.
They're both really strong. I guess it's Ware now, but it's super close between those two. I could see really playing both those guys in the cash game build.
Can Jalen Johnson get a 20-20-20 triple-double? I mean, it's possible if you can get a triple-double at half. All you got to do is that twice in a row. Small field single entry, Will, last piece. You want Kevin Durant or Amen Thompson?
KD.
Multiple questions about Raynode in the YouTube chat, Will, and we do have Gafford officially ruled out, Klay Thompson officially ruled out, PJ Washington a game time decision. Do you think his minutes were an outlier last game, Tim? And what do you think about him as a tournament option in general?
I mean, I absolutely love him in GPPs. Were his minutes last time an outlier? I mean, it's possible, or they're kind of drifting away or drifting towards him and away from Eubanks. I mean, I can't say that he's guaranteed to start here. I can't guarantee that he's going to get tons of minutes. I just think that the field isn't really on him yet. And I love this entire game environment. So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some risk here. But I'm playing him in my single entry team, at least on DraftKings right now. I haven't finished my FanDuel one yet, but I definitely have him in my DK one.
Are there any, here's this one, Pat Spencer or Drew Smith?
Drew Smith.
Tim, are there any Heat players you would not play together?
That's an interesting question. I don't think so. I'm not that worried about it. No, I don't think so.
Will, what do you think about an AD bounce back game tonight?
I mean, if you're playing AD right now, you're basically playing him to be contrarian. I'm gonna go with no AD.
I think we asked this one already, but I don't remember the answer, so we'll go back to it. Bub Carrington or Pat Spencer, Tim?
I think it's Spencer, but they're both okay.
This was the question I was meaning to ask you, Will, because I think it's very relevant with your Ryan Rollins call. Kevin Porter Jr., fade. What do you think about going a fade of KPJ tonight?
No.
No,
not on DraftKings. Not on DraftKings.
Rollins, you'd rather play them together?
To be honest, currently I have Rollins and KPJ, which is like super contrarian already because nobody's playing Rollins, everybody's playing KPJ. I think one or the other is fine. I'm just going to play them both.
FanDuel Cash, AD or Jalen Johnson? It's got to be Jalen Johnson. AD is definitely not in the cash game consideration, and Johnson is a must play there. FanDuel GPP, Will, you want CJ McCollum and Kevin Durant or Khalil Ware and Amen Thompson?
Kevin Durant's out for me.
Tim, is Champagny a good cash punt at small forward on FanDuel? Allows him to have Durant, Johnson. Okay, well, that you just leading out the whole team. But what do you think about Champagny as a cash punt?
Champagny is a cash punt on FanDuel.
Yeah.
I don't really love it. I mean, I guess if you like your team and that's like the last piece, I guess that's okay. I mean, I'd rather play Kuminga for 500 more. I think I'd rather go down to Will Riley, but I mean, if it's if you love your team, play it, go with it.
DKGPP best ceiling 6,100 or less. Now, this is a spot where there's tons of great plays. I would rank it 1 Ware, 2 Hawkes, 3 Jabari Smith Jr. Tim, who would you say has the highest ceiling, 6,100 and below on DK?
6,100 or below on DK. Definitely love Ware. I would definitely go Ware. Hawkes is good. I don't know how big of a ceiling he is though. But yeah, I mean Hawkes is strong, and I love Jabari Smith. That's a pretty strong price range. But Ware is definitely number 1 for me.
Yeah, agreed there. Hawkes or Jabari Smith, DKGPP, Chief?
Jabari Smith.
QQ for Tim, should I still play KPJ in a DraftKings single entry?
Yeah. Yep. I think there's more merit. I think there's more merit to fade him now, but he's still a fantastic play.
DKGPP, Drew Smith or Bub Carrington? Drew Smith all the way. FanDuel GPP, Will, Buddy Hield or Champagny?
Ooh, that's a tough one for me. Oh, give me, man. Gosh, man. Give me Champagny. But in my head, I feel like it's Buddy Hield, but give me Champagny.
Well, it's kind of one of those ones where Champagny is far more likely to get you 20 to 25 points. He's the safer play. He's going to be somewhere in that 15 to 25 range. Buddy Hield could get you -2, and he could get you 40. So it's just kind of on the risk tolerance you're feeling. Tim, what do you think about a pivot from Hawkes to Najee Marshall if PJ Washington is out?
Let me check the. See if we have an if then. We don't. No, I don't want Najee.
Will Nickeil Alexander or Westbrook on FanDuel?
Ooh, that's a good question. I haven't heard a lot of Westbrook talk, even from myself. I think I'm gonna go with Nickeil Alexander Walker, but like I totally get the Westbrook call.
Tim, FanDuel cash. Do you want Riley and Wiggins, or do you want Champagny and Ware? Alternatively, you could do Riley and Ware and leave 600 on the table.
I'd go the second one.
All right, let's take it back to the Discord. FanDuel last piece. You want Max Christie or Champagny, Will?
Champagny.
DKGPP, Tim, Ryan Rollins and Raynaud, or Wiggins and Ware?
Raynaud's my guy, so I'm going to stick with him, but those are both really strong 2v2s.
Wiggins and Ware projecting a little bit better, but Rollins and Raynaud, the 2 slate breakers from Chief and Tim tonight. Deegs in chat trying to have an argument with me, saying isn't Buddy Hield the better DFS play if he's got the higher ceiling and lower floor? I said, depends what your goals are. He says, your goal should be to win a contest. Well, my friend, let me introduce you to something called a double up or a 50-50, because that is not always true. And a lot of people play cash games. And in that case, you certainly want the median projection.
Well, here's the thing too, though. And I get what he's trying to talk about is ceiling upside. But here's the thing. If I hit the nuts and Buddy Hield gets me 5 fantasy points and then I get 25 from Champagne, I win. Like if I hit the nuts, I win. Like, so I think sometimes we have this false perception. I hope I'm not holding this up, that everybody has to have a ceiling performance. And that's not true. That's not true. Everybody has to have a ceiling performance in your lineup. You could have 7 guys with ceiling performances and one with 25 fantasy points at a 4K price tag, and you're fine. All right, we get more questions, so I'll stop.
We're good. That was perfectly timed because that was the last question, and that's why I brought it up. So no worries at all. We got one more, though, from Sean. CJ McCollum or KPJ, Will?
KPJ.
My thoughts exactly. Tim, we got 2 minutes left to log, just in case somebody popped in for these last 5 minutes here. Give us the maybe 3 core plays each for FanDuel cash and DraftKings cash.
DK, it's Drew Smith. Everywhere it's Drew Smith. Jalen Johnson is everywhere as well. Kevin Porter Jr. probably still on DK, at least a little bit closer on FanDuel, but I still think he's a really strong play there. So KBJ, Jalen Johnson, Drew Smith on DK, and then Drew Smith, Khalil Ware, and Jalen Johnson on FanDuel.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you so much for tuning in today, everyone. Oh, we got one more question popping in here to the RotoGrinders Discord from Beaner Chief. What are your thoughts on Malik Monk today?
Love Malik Monk, one of my favorite value plays.
Stay tuned for more NFL content. We got you 3.5 hours leading up to lock tomorrow. You got Tim and the NFL Grinders live crew, the People Show with Bobby and Dean, starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. You got GPP final takes after that, and then myself and Britt Devine taking you up until lock. And then we also got some Sunday Night Football content coming with myself and Chief for Sunday Night Football pre-lock tomorrow as well. So stay tuned. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of the shows. I know nothing about college football, so I leave this to both of you. But Big Ten championship tonight.
Ohio State.
Buckeyes.
Come on, man. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Tim, how about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm leaning, sorry, Will, but I'm leaning on Indiana plus 5.5.
It does not matter. They're gonna lose.
All right.
Thanks so much.
I mean, I might have come late because now it's 3.5 on DraftKings. That's my only book. So if I gotten it earlier, I would have hit that Indiana 5.5. But now it's too late.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We will see you tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself, Tim, and Will, peace.